Hey, how's it going? This is Hellbent, and welcome to the first tutorial in the graphical user interface for AutoHotkey. For this first episode, we're just going to introduce what the graphical user interface is, some examples of it, and then we'll start out writing some code that will create our template, and we'll go over a few of the things that we need to do to get it started. So first things first is I've already gone and loaded up a couple of previous GUIs that I've written. Don't think of these as all that you can do with it, but rather as just something to visualize in what you're going to be able to create using what we're going to be learning. Okay, so I don't have any specific order. I've just started them up. I picked randomly a few different graphical user interfaces that I've created. So here's one of the earlier ones. This one is a recorder. Okay. So all it does is just record your mouse, blah, blah, blah. Got some buttons on it. Next, what's this one? Okay, this one is basically the same thing as that other one was, but a few different features on it. Let's see, what else we got? Okay, here we have a 3-in-1 auto clicker that I just wrote the other day. Here we have a auto clicker, the first auto clicker that I actually wrote back several months ago. Let's see, this is a automation script for a game. Lots of different buttons that do a bunch of different things. This is for a game that I was going to write, and in fact a game similar to this I did a tutorial back about 2 months ago where I was going to create a clicker game with, you can upgrade, blah 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 blah. Okay, what's this? Okay, here is a clicker game. This is a clicker game that I had started writing. So, a bunch of different things on it. So you can do a lot more with the graphical user interface than just have the buttons and whatever. You can do all kinds of crazy things. You can actually create games just using the graphical user interface. So let's see. So obviously nothing here. I tried to look up one where you could actually click on a surface and it had all kinds of different things added into it, sound effects, etc. But I didn't want to spend too much time, so we'll exit. Let me see. Alright, well, that one. Here is a more advanced version of a automation script that I wrote for another game. Lots of different features built into it, auto clickers, this, that, whatever. Let's see, what else we got? Okay, here is a side-scrolling shooter game that I just tested. I just wanted to see what I could actually do with the graphical user interface. So I didn't actually get far with this before I got bored with it. But I just wanted to see if you could actually create a game like this. So, side-scrolling shooter, kind of like the 80s kind of asteroids game. Alright, let's see, what else do we got? Here was just me playing around with the tabs feature. I want to use this for the clicker game. Let's see, what else do we got? Here's one of the very first GUIs that I ever wrote. It seems to be missing something here, but whatever. So, okay, so we got a trivia game here. And you just answer and submit answer, blah blah blah. What else do we got? Okay, with this game here, with that game there, let me see. I need to find that trivia game. My first clicker, Space Wars. Is this mini game? I think this is mini game. So there we go. Okay. So in that mini game, it was just, I basically wrote it just for this to have a jump scare in it. So if I click on this, it'll give me a little jump scare, play some sound effects. Okay. Let's see, what else do I got? Another automated script for a game. Just, you know, simple stuff, buttons that do things. And that is it. Let's see. Now I can close all of these guys. And we'll jump into it. So, like I said, I just wanted to show those just to give you a sense of what we're going to be doing. So, you should by now know what a graphical user interface, because pretty much everything that you do on your computer is done with a graphical user interface. In fact, the video that you're watching right now is displayed on a graphical user interface. So, let's begin. Let me get rid of some of these scripts off the screen. Like I said, I just picked it at random. I try to pick as many examples as I could get. And okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make it so that way when we run our script, if an older version of it is running, it's not going to ask us if we want to run it again. So what we're going to do is we're just going to type in the pound key with single instance force. Single instance, comma, and then we're going to force. So we're not going to get asked over and over again as we test our program if we want to run it again. It'll say a previous version is going. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make it so that way if we have some kind of problem, we want a hotkey ready at the ready, so that way all we have to do is press a certain button, and if we have any problems we can just exit out of this right away. So that's what I always like to do with my scripts. So we'll just put the shift of 6, which means we have to push control plus whatever we add to this. So I like X. So control plus X, and then that's going to exit our app. Okay, that's out of the way. Now into our GUI. So the first thing we need to do is create the template for it. And the way we do that is we just type in GUI, comma, and then show, and then comma, and then we need a width and a height. So let's say 500, a width of 500, a height of 500, and then after we'll put a comma in, and then we'll put a title in. So let's call this the GUI. Alright, and then after all of our things for our GUI, we need to put a return. Okay, because if we don't put in this return, if we have anything following it, it'll run it even if we don't want it to run it. So like for example, if our GUI has a button in it, if we don't put this return, even if we don't press the button, it's actually going to run that button's function. So we'll go ahead and save this, and we will have a look. So here it is. Here is our 500 by 500, and if we want to change the shape of it and size of it, we can just go in and let's say our width, let's go height. Let's change it to 300. So we have it like this now. We'll save, and we will play. And now we have a different size. Now, when we run this, it's automatically, each time we run it, it's going to put it near the center of our screen. If we want it to be put, let's say, over here or something like that, just as an example, what we can do in here is we can put an X location. So we want, let's try 600, an X of 600 and a Y of 100. And we'll check out what that does. So we'll save. And now it's up here. If we want, we can move it over a little bit more. Okay, now it's over there. So we can control where on our screen it pops up just by changing this. Okay, so now we have our template. What if we want to change the color of this? The way we do that is we just come up here and we type in GUI, and then we say color. and then we can pick a color. There's only a few colors that we can actually use by the word, the name of the color. For example, black. If we do that, we now have a black background. We can change it to, let's see, I don't know. I don't remember all the ones that you can use names for, but I'll show you how to do it without the name. No, okay, obviously pink isn't it. I know aqua is. Aqua, I think purple. Okay, and if we don't want that, let me set it up for, so what we need is HTML. Yeah, if you Google HTML color codes, and I'll pull this over, we can go to this screen here, and we can create our own color. And that will give us a hex code. We don't need the pound sign in front of it. So we can copy this. And then we can put it in here. And I think that should work okay. And there we go. Okay, so there. And if we want, we can do other colors as well. So we'll just copy this code and paste it in. Save the changes and run. So you can create all kinds of different colors for your background, for your text, everything like that. But for now, this is fine. Another thing, okay. So now we're going to go on to one more, I think one or two more things. First, right now, if I was to click on this page, this is going to disappear. Okay? But what if I want it to stay up and stay on top, even if I click away from it? The way we accomplish that is we type in GUI and then a plus and always on top. And if we save that, and now even if we click on this page, it's still going to stay up. And then in our code, let's say at different stages of our program, we want it to stay up, and then other times we want it to hide it. The way we'll hide it is actually with a minus. So a plus puts it on top, minus makes it so that way it'll get buried. But we'll leave it on top for now. Okay, let me think. What else can we add into this? So, like I said, we added in our title, but I didn't actually point that out. So here's our title here, and if we change that, we can change our title. If we leave this parameter, if we leave it blank, what it's going to end up doing is whatever our, let me make sure it's actually okay. So whatever our script is called, that's going to be put up there. So it's GUI tut1 intro. That's what's going to be showing up right here. So if you don't want to have this, make sure you put something there. A quick way, if you just want to leave that blank, I found a little trick for doing that is you can just put in the ampersand sign, and then it'll. Oh wait, no, that's for something. That's for something else. Never mind. Never mind. Let's see. I think I can use this one. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we use the tab. What this means is it's going to move. Normally when you use this, it would mean that you're putting 7 spaces or 9 spaces in between different things on in your program or whatever. But in this case, if we put that into the title parameter, it's just going to make it so we don't have a title here. One last thing that we will go into on this is we will show the first command in our GUI, which is text. So the way we add text to our GUI is we just type in GUI and then add and then text. And now we need a position within our GUI that we need a position in our GUI that it's going to be. Now, right here, if you look at this top corner, this top left corner, this would be X0 and Y0. So our X is going to grow in this direction, and our Y is going to grow in this direction. So if we want, I usually just do it like in the top corner. So I'm just going to do that as a starting point. So X equals 10 and Y equals 10. Okay, and then we'll put in just a generic text, hello. We'll save that and we will run. Okay, so there's our X10, Y10. We can get rid of this Y, and it's pretty much going to be the exact same spot just about. So we can omit the Y, and now what we're going to do is we're actually going to add in, we're going to copy this and we're going to add another one in. And what we can do is we can either guess where our next word, so we're going to change this word. We can either guess where our next word is going to be and change this accordingly. Like we can try that at 50 and then run it. And in this case, I would actually have to use a Y. So let me put in the Y. Y10, Y10. Okay. Okay, so we can guess and we can play around with this value until we get it to where we want it. Or what we can do is forget about that, and all we're going to do is we're just going to add to this value. So it's going to calculate where the end of our hello ended, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to add X amount of spaces to it. So all we have to do is we just have to type in plus how far do we want it to go. So let's go X plus 10. So now it's over there, and we can do it at 50. And this is a really, when I first started writing these GUIs, I had no idea about doing this. I just kind of stumbled across this one day. I was like, I wonder if you can just add to the value of the previous X, and I tried it and it worked. So I don't think I've actually gone through and actually typed in their specific location on the GUI in forever. There is a lot of cases where you are going to have to take the task of actually writing in all the X and Y exactly where you want them. But for the most part, you can just use X plus. And then if you want to do the next one on the next line, all you do is instead of doing the plus, you just do X10 again. And we will, I don't fucking care. Okay. And then likewise, if I want to add another thing beside that, we can do X plus 66. And then whatever. Okay, let's change the color of this back to black. We'll save that, and what's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? We can't read our text. So how do we change our text color? Well, there's two different ways we can do this. We can either do it individually per line. What we can do is we can type in here in the same parameter that we put our location, is we can say C and then the color we want. So let's do aqua, and only this one is going to be that color. So we have our hello changed, and we could actually go through all of them and change them like that. Or if we know that they're all going to be the same color, what we can do is we can type up here GUI and then font. And in this font we can type the type of font that we want to use. For example, we can do Times New Roman, blah 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 blah. We can also change the size of our text by typing in S for size and then the size that we want it to be. And then for our color, we just do C for the color and whatever color we want. Like I said, you don't have to use, most things you're not going to be able to use a word for. You can just use the HTML color code. And we'll take a look at this. So there we go. So we changed that. We can change this to 33. Okay. So that's something we can do there. And let me see. I think this is a good spot to end this one. We'll come back on the next episode and we'll continue adding in different features. Like right now we have the text. You can see how to add in text, change its font, its color, how to position it on your user interface. I think next we'll bring in something logical, which will be our buttons. And I will see you there.